Hi, this is Charlie Zeiss from Stargate Pyramids. Today we're going to be expanding on some of the prior videos that I've done with the Lecker antenna to demonstrate the energy fields of the Stargate Pyramid. And what we're going to be doing today, I have two guests with me, Lori Sassen and Bill MacKenzie. Lori recently put together a psychic enhancement class that we just finished a couple of days ago. This was a 4-week session that we had, and the members just had a wonderful experience, and I'll let Lori talk about that briefly. But she is a psychic, a healer, a medium, and did a wonderful job in our psychic enhancement class. Bill MacKenzie was actually one of the students in the class along with me. Bill had an interest in expanding his psychic awareness. And as Lori and I got to know Bill during the course of the class, we found out, as did the rest of the class, that he is an expert dowser. And one of the exercises that led to this video was some exercises that we did in our final session, where both Lori and Bill were able to measure the energy fields of the participants of the class, both inside and outside of the pyramid. And that's what we're going to be doing today. We are hoping and expect to actually begin some podcasts. Once you see this information today, I think it's going to be exciting for those of you who are interested to start listening into these podcasts. We're going to be doing these on my YouTube channel, probably starting right after the first of the year. But anyway, without further ado, I want to first introduce Lori. First, I want to tell you about what the pyramids have done for me, and then I'm going to let Lori and Bill speak to that as well. For those of you who know me, you know that I've lost a tremendous amount of weight since I began using these pyramids and building them several years ago. But more importantly, I know that these pyramids have improved my intuitive abilities, my ability to bring information into my life. They've made me much more peaceful and at one with my higher self. So there have been a lot of things that have been of benefit to me. And now I'm going to turn it over and let each of these two talk to those benefits. So Lori, why don't you start next and tell us what you're going to be doing today and also how the pyramid's been of benefit to you.
Thanks, Charlie. I love the pyramid. I cannot believe how much it enhances my ability ever since I've received it. What I find so interesting is my meditations are deeper. I'll do sessions that are outside the state if I'm on the phone. While in the pyramid, I can find energy immediately that needs to be cleared, that shouldn't be there, and enhances my client's energy tremendously. My sleep is better. I have more prophetic dreams now because of the pyramid. And of course, I don't sleep under the pyramid, but the pyramid has the energy to go a certain distance around the house. So even when I do sleep, I still get the benefits. And meditations have been deeper. Again, like you mentioned, my psychic ability, what's amazing to me is I love my psychic ability, and I love how, you know, sometimes I surprise myself when people are like, wow, you're really psychic. You get underneath these pyramids and you're extremely psychic, off the chart kind of psychic. And it's always impressive. And the class that we just got done, the last 4 weeks of this class, I just absolutely loved how we all evolved and eventually was able to feel some significant difference after the class and have some psychic ability that, whether it was in the dreams or knew something was going to happen, like one of the students had said how he was measuring for a pipe, and when he went to go measure the pipe, he decided he's going to do a couple inch longer. And sure enough, that is exactly what he needed. And normally that wasn't happening for him, but it's just simple intuition that happens in your daily life that is subtle, but it makes a huge difference because you don't have to redo something, or that you don't have to struggle with life. And that's what I've found with these pyramids. It's made my life simpler and easier. And not only that, but I found blocks in my finances and areas of money. So my finances have increased tremendously since I've had the pyramid. So thank you, Charlie, for building these, for studying and getting this information out. I know you and I both saw the video on Gaia that David Wilcock had. And so when you got the correct measurements and had this out, I was so excited. So thank you again for that.
All right. So Lori, quickly tell us what you're going to be measuring on the three of us today, and how that works. And
well, like you mentioned, Bill has a really great talent that the other day when we were in class, we were recognizing, okay, let's check our energies within the pyramid and see where they're at. And then let's walk outside the pyramid and see where the energy's at. And Carol also did it with her Lecker device. It was just fascinating to me, the difference. And it was always better within the pyramid. But not only that, we have a rhythm that everybody has that is constantly moving, and I can feel that sensation of their rhythm when they talk or when I connect with them. And what was great is Bill would say something like, hey, why don't you meditate for a minute? Let's see where your levels are there. And then we started evolving to, hey, let's look at someone and let me clear their energy and see where my levels are there. And then, you know, was the levels different depending on the person? And sure enough, it was. So for me, being a scientific person, I like numbers like that because it really helps me understand how it works. And if you understand how it works, it just makes you, it enhances your intuition easier and better, because you go, oh, this is real. This isn't something I'm just grabbing out of the sky.
That's right. Okay, cool. All right, now, Bill, it's your turn once again. This is Bill MacKenzie, who was in our class. Bill and I'll let him talk about it more, but we both came from the financial world, so that, if nothing else, has gotten us to a great bond throughout that session. So, Bill, take it away. Tell us a little bit about yourself, and explain a bit about dowsing and what you're going to be measuring, and how people should relate to that.
Thanks, Charlie. Yeah, I saw Charlie's YouTube videos probably beginning of the summer, and I thought, wow, that's pretty cool. And having read some of the Law of One about pyramids and their energies, I thought, you know, there probably is something to this. And I'm sort of a do-it-yourself guy, so I created my own 5-foot pyramid as a sort of you know, a model to see what would, you know, if AI could make it and build it to the specifications, and then see if there was anything to it. Now, a 5-foot pyramid's not big enough for me to sit in, but I said, well, let's try putting it in my bedroom. So I put it in my bedroom, and you know, I'm kind of an old guy now, and I have issues at night, like old people do, and especially men getting up to go to the bathroom. And you know, it didn't entirely, you know, eliminate my need to get up, but it reduced it quite a bit. You know, from 2 or 3 times to, you know, 1 or 2. You know, and I thought, you know, okay, that's pretty cool. So I got to take this to the next step. So I then built myself an 8-foot pyramid and got a nice, comfortable Poang chair that Charlie recommended. And, you know, I started sitting in it and, you know, doing just sort of reading in it to begin with, not really meditating. But, you know, I'm a big hiker and biker, and my left knee would get sore. And so I'd sit inside the pyramid for, you know, an hour, and my knee would slowly, just sort of, the pain would go away, you know. And that was different because it would take, you know, a day or 2 for that kind of a thing to sort of heal itself, you know. But my biggest breakthrough came about a couple of weeks ago, and this was during the psychic course. I decided to get into meditation again while I'm in the pyramid, and my dreams And I've even started having visions, and they're just off the charts. I've not been one to remember a lot of dreams, and now I can remember most dreams that I have. So
Mhm.
it's been a real eye opener for me, and I just can't I just can't say enough about these pyramids. You know.
Well, that's fantastic. So, if you would, could you give a brief description of the dowsing techniques that you're going to be using today to demonstrate these energies, and maybe show people the chart you're going to be using, and just give us a general intro so people can get their left brains going.
So I ran across this PDF called "A Letter to Robin," probably from a very accomplished and skilled dowser named Raymond Gray. And he basically, it now only does water dowsing and healing, but I got a hold of this free PDF, and it's a whole program on dowsing. And so I, taught myself how to program my pendulum, which is, a nice little brass Karnak. And I just started dowsing, and there's ways to train your pendulum, to your mind, and we can go over that later in some more podcasts. But essentially, I have this is from the letter to Robin, and it's just a a very basic chart with yes and no and some gradation. So it allows you to douse scales, so like from 0 to 10 and things like that. So, and I've been doing this about a year now, and I do it every day. I muscle test with my pendulum, my chakras and my meridians, and you just sort of keep doing it until you gain confidence that something's happening and that you sort of believe really what's going on here.
Well, that's great. All right. I think we probably are ready to kind of get started. I'm going to volunteer to be the first person to be tested, because mine are probably gonna, it doesn't matter to me, but they may test low, but also the other two people are going to have to test themselves in part. So I figure this is going to be the easiest way for you all to see this, and then Lori and Bill will test themselves and each other after they're done with me. So I guess the first thing to do, I'm going to stay inside the pyramid, and if you all can get a reading of my energy levels, then we can report back on that.
Okay, so I'm going to start while Bill is dowsing. I'm going to kind of give you an idea by the hand how your energy is going. So it's just going like this, and there's a little tension in your left side of your shoulder blade. And I don't know if you can feel that, but that's what I'm feeling as you're sitting in the pyramid. And this is your tempo of your energy.
Okay. Now, what does that tempo tell us?
Well, on a scale of 1 to 10, that tells me that your tempo is at a level of a 10 that is very optimal for receiving good frequencies, recepting good frequencies, energy that's good, things like that. Okay. Now, a lot of times when people talk, and it may be a particular experience, their energy will just stop, and it shouldn't do that. So then we try and find out, okay, what caused it to stop, and clear that energy so it won't do that again.
Okay. Now, you also mentioned that there was some tension that you felt in my left neck. So explain that to the group. So
when
I will say it is there a little bit. So you picked up on something that's real.
Yeah. So when I tap into your energy, what I'm doing is I'm kind of like an instrument. And when I tap into your instrument, it tells me where it's off. And your left shoulder blade area, and like you said, your left side of your neck. And then it goes to pertain to expanding. There's something going on that you would like to expand. It's not happening. So that tells me that the energy isn't coming from you. It's coming from somewhere else. So I would start looking at where this energy might be stopping you from expanding.
Okay.
And I mean, I could go into a ton of stuff there, but if you want me to, I'll stop.
That's fine for now.
Okay.
I
Okay.
think everybody can tell that you're getting an awful lot of information here. And
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, the purpose of this is to demonstrate the fact that you're getting stuff, and we'll leave the analysis maybe for the podcast. So, Bill, what are you getting in terms of energy information on me inside the pyramid?
So another chart that I use is something called a Bovis life chart dowsing, a life force dowsing chart. And essentially it's a circle with gradients that go around it, and it goes from this particular chart goes from 1,000 to 100 billion. And you know, the numbers, I'm not so sure if they're entirely meaningful, but at least it gives us a measurement of you know, before and after. So
Okay.
Charlie, while you're sitting in the pyramid, your Bovis life force was at a 16,000.
Okay.
So that's our initial benchmark.
Okay. All right.
In the pyramid.
So now what I'm going to do is to move outside the pyramid and let Lori and Bill test me again outside. So hold on, and I'll move on outside and let them begin.
Okay, so showing with the hands again. Here's your movement. So as you can tell, it's a lot slower than what it was in the pyramid.
Sure.
And on a scale of 1 to 10, it's a 5. So it's gone down significantly from the pyramid.
Mm-hmm.
And then as you're standing, I start feeling mid-back energy.
Okay. Yep. Yep. Okay, and Bill, what are you finding?
So your level went from a 16,000 down to a 6,000.
Wow, so significant. So we can see it, and with me as the first demonstration, that a significant change in both Lori's and Bill's calculations of my energy field. So who wants to go next?
I'll go next.
All right.
All right, so my energy in the pyramid is going like this. It's just constant.
Can you measure that on a one? You got me as a 10. Sounds like you were a little faster.
Well, it was faster, but I go 1 to 10. Like as Bill has talked earlier, his range goes a little higher. If I went a little bit higher, like 1 to 20, mine would be more like 20.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. And Bill, what are you getting for Lori's energy inside the pyramid?
So her energy is at a 20,000.
Okay.
Okay. So I'm going to go outside the pyramid. And I'm going to turn this slightly. All right.
Okay.
So, that's my energy now. Still slightly faster than yours outside the pyramid.
Okay.
But that's what it's doing now. And I can feel very lower back compared to yours was mid back.
Okay.
Did you lose me for a second?
We did, but that's all right.
Let me come back. All right, Bill, what'd you get?
So when you stepped out of the pyramid, you went down to between 8,000 and 9,000.
And that was from what, 20 to begin with, Bill?
Yeah, 20 to about.
Okay. Okay.
That's
All right.
huge. Yeah.
What we found is that it's between 2.5 to 3 times, you know, more energy inside the pyramid than outside.
Right. Okay, Bill,
All right.
now it's time for Lori to test you and you to test yourself.
Okay, I'll try not to lie too much.
Okay, so his is going fast as well. Again, on a scale of 1 to 10, I would say a 10, but if we went higher, 1 to 20, I would say 15. So,
So my initial reading is about 20,000, something like that.
Okay.
And I'll move out.
actually, his energy is still going pretty fast.
Is it?
I'm still feeling his energy pretty fast. We'll see what his levels are when he checks it out.
Okay.
I feel things in his throat, the back of his neck.
So my energy went down to 8,000 also.
Okay.
So that
So,
was pretty consistent.
yeah,
I mean, so to go from 20,000 to 8,000, seems pretty
right.
consistent. Same sort of ratio with you, Charlie.
Yeah.
16,000 to about 6.
Right. So about 2.5 times to 3 times seems to be the proper multiplier. So,
Yeah.
and then Lori's seems like your scale maybe cut by 50% or thereabouts, right?
Right.
Yeah. So um, I'll just throw it out. Bill, from your experience, what would you think? I mean, do you have any comments on this as to what do you think's going on, or why, how this compares to other things that you may have measured with dowsing?
The only things I've really measured are I have a couple of more pyramids in my house.
Okay.
So I have a small little, crystal Giza pyramid,
Right.
and uh, I can only measure the energy that comes out of the apex because clearly I can't get inside the pyramid itself. But I have a 5-foot Russian pyramid. I also made a 2-foot Russian pyramid,
Mm-hmm.
and my measurements basically say the same thing, that um, there's energy inside the pyramid, and we haven't really talked about this, but there's also even more energy that comes out the top of the pyramid.
Right. Right. Exactly.
So we can probably measure that at some later point, because
Exactly. Well, I can't wait to start these podcasts, because I think we're going to find a lot of questions that are going to come into mind, and I'm just going to throw one out to both of you as an example. There was a book written 25, 30 years ago called Shape Power by Dan A. Davidson. And in that book, he talks about the power of stacking multiple layers of pyramids on top of each other, or in a series in some way. So if you can both visualize this idea of maybe having Bill, your 2-foot pyramid, and a 5-foot pyramid, and a 7-foot pyramid, kind of all sitting inside of each other, what do you intuitively, Lori, what are you, or do you get any sort of a response as to what that energetic impact might be?
Well, just going back to what we were saying, inside the pyramid, you're looking at 555 vortexes that are swirling around here. So that's why it's creating such a positive atmosphere and causing such a good healing mechanism, along with helping us dream better, helping us intuitively, and then also healing ourselves. When you stack them together like that, we're talking, so you're increasing that each time, the 555 with all of those. So that's pretty powerful.
Yeah, well, maybe it's something we'll try in some subsequent experiments. So I don't know, Bill, if you can douse for that as an idea.
oh yeah,
Oh yeah, of course. This is what's great about having Bill here.
Well, and to explore the different ideas that each one of us may have. So
exactly.
Well, the important thing with dowsing and gaining any of this sort of information from the field is that you have to ask the right question.
that's exactly right.
If you're going to get a reliable answer.
Okay.
Yes.
So it's very important to frame the question correctly so as to not create any ambiguity, because if you create any ambiguity, then you're going to get an ambiguous answer.
Okay.
So,
Fair statement.
For me, I usually get a nothing at all. So it's interesting how you say ambiguity, because I get nothing if I don't ask the right questions.
yeah, there's definitely something to that. I get a yes on that question.
Okay. Well,
Is there more power
sure.
when you stack pyramids?
Well, clearly something we'll perhaps explore in some of our podcasts as an idea. So, in summary, what I think we have determined today is that the pyramid on all three of us has had an energetic impact, a significant energetic impact while we're inside the pyramid. In the case of Bill's methodology, we've seen that the energy of each of us has increased about 2.5 to 3 times versus the energy levels that we experience outside of the pyramid. And when we did the same thing with Lori's methodology, we're getting similar results, somewhere between 2 and 3 times greater energy field inside the pyramid. So this is yet just other examples of ways that we are attempting to demonstrate these energy fields inside the pyramid. So we're looking forward, actually, I am very excited about the prospect of starting up these podcasts. In the comments section of this video, what I'd like is if people have some specific ideas as to time of day or days of the week that might be of benefit to you. We'd like to know that. We want to make this interactive so that people will be able to ask Bill and Lori and me questions during the podcast. So we'd like to get as much live participation as possible. So if you would, in the comments section, put down any requests in terms of time. Otherwise, we'll be picking a time that we hope will be satisfactory to the largest number of people. So, with that said, I guess Lori, if you'd like to have some closing comments, and then Bill, if you'd like to.
I have to say, Charlie, I thought of several as you were closing, so I apologize. But one thing I've also noticed is I don't need as much sleep as I used to.
Yes.
Which I think is a great plus, because I energetically feel better. And the next thing is what we found in our class is we all intentionally were in the pyramids, intentionally hoping that something would change or something would be different globally. And what we found is it worked. So what I'd like for the podcast is to have a few people that may need something that it might be at some severity, that we could intentionally put a prayer or help them at the end of this podcast and see how that works.
Oh, that's a fantastic idea. Bill, do you have any closing thoughts here for the group?
I do, because your comments and Lori's comments obviously caused me to think that it would be really special if we could get people to participate while they're in their own pyramids.
Yes.
And take that sort of concept and move it along, because you really can't sort of understand what we're talking about until you actually get inside of one of these things.
Right.
It's absolutely true. Absolutely right. So
to pay attention a little bit more. I mean, it doesn't happen immediately. It didn't with me.
Mm-hmm.
I know it did with Lori, but I mean, it was very subtle for me, but it now it's kicking in like gangbusters. So
yeah,
it would be great if we could get other people to chime in on their experiences.
Well, that's a great suggestion. So, well, in closing, I thank you all for listening today. I hope this has been beneficial. As always, tell your friends about Stargate Pyramids. Subscribe to our channel. Remember to ring the bell. And Bill, what's that you're doing there?
I love you.
Oh, I didn't know if you were a UT fan. I wasn't sure, but anyway. Anyway, thank you for watching. And you have a great day. Thank you.